Hello, thanks for being here today. Thanks for joining me and the Jefferson Educational Society for this week's mindfulness exercises. Um, Today we have two exercises I'd like to do. One is called breath awareness, and the other is noticing emotions. The noticing emotions, well, I've done them both before with you all as a group, if you've listened to my other videos. Um, the noticing emotions, I'm going to take my time with this time, go a little bit slower than I did the first time. And the breath awareness is always good to come back to, just to keep practicing. So, when we talk about mindfulness, we are really talking about mindfulness practices. We don't really achieve mindfulness in a sustained way. I mean, hopefully, we can have moments of mindfulness and times of mindfulness and perhaps even hours of mindfulness if we're doing something really cool and intriguing. But it's hard to have sustained, complete mindfulness. So it's a mindfulness practice of remembering mindfulness and coming back to mindfulness. And even starting in our lives to use it as a tool. Sometimes come back to mindfulness as opposed to like spinning in the brain about the past or the future. So it does become a tool as we practice it. So again, today we're going to start with breath awareness. So I'd like to get started. I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable. Otherwise, sometimes people just kind of like look down, eyes mostly closed, but I invite you to close your eyes, to sit or even lay down comfortably. I'd like you to be comfortable, but not where you're really going to fall asleep. If you're sitting, feet flat on the floor, help the energy move through your body. Again, eyes closed if that's okay. I'd like you to bring your awareness to your breath. Really just be noticing your breath in your body. It can be good to start with an awareness of your rib cage. And the movement at your rib cage with each breath. Noticing the shift on the inhale and the shift on the exhale. And keeping your awareness there with that movement as you breathe. Sometimes it's good to, every so often, take an extra big, deep in breath. And I'd like you to try that now. Take an extra big in breath. Hold it briefly, and then exhale. And exhale even farther than usual. And then just go right back to your normal breath. And then keep your awareness on your rib cage. You'll probably drift off with thoughts from time to time. And as soon as you notice that you've drifted off with a thought, you don't have to get upset with yourself. You just notice. And then you bring your awareness right back to your breath and that sensation in your rib cage of your breath. So staying there, but then some of you may be interested in noticing your breath right at your nose. Noticing the sensation of the in-breath and the sensation of the out breath or exhale. Noticing it right there at the tip of your nose, perhaps even inside, your nose, your nostrils. Perhaps you can feel it inside your sinus cavity. You're just bringing your awareness there. There's nothing for you to figure out. Just bringing your awareness to the inhale and to the exhale sensations at the nose. And some of you may want to listen for the breath. The inhale at the nose, listening. And the exhale at the nose. Keeping your awareness on your breath. Returning your awareness to the breath if your awareness drifts off. Coming back to the breath. Staying with it. Returning to it. And even forgiving yourself if you get distracted. None of this getting mad at yourself. Coming back to the present moment, to your breath, with compassion. I'd like to wrap this up in about a minute. Keeping your awareness on your breath. Noticing the inhalation and the exhalation wherever you have been noticing it. And then when you're ready, we will complete this exercise. And you can stay in that restful pose. You can open your eyes. So good job with that mindfulness exercise. In some ways, I wish this was a two-way communication because I'd love to hear about your experiences. Whether you were able to stay present, how much your mind wandered off. Also, kind of which part of it resonated with you. Was it kind of keeping your awareness on your chest cavity and your rib cage? Was it having your awareness on the sensation even of the inhale and the exhale? Or was it on the kind of listening? And one really interesting thing about that is that as you listen to yourself and what resonates with you, it's part of you really listening to yourself more deeply. Honor what resonated with you. Some of the others might have seemed dumb. So you just honor what resonated with you, and you can practice that any time of day or night. Even pausing during the day when you feel like you don't have any time at all because you have to keep doing what you're doing. That's a great time to pause and focus on 3 breaths. If you have time, go for it. 10 breaths, 20 breaths. Great. If you feel like you're really just stuck on time, still get yourself to pause for 3 breaths. Okay, our next exercise is noticing emotions or emotional awareness. So my little introduction to that is the idea that we can think about our emotions and identify. So if I'm angry, I think about and identify that I'm angry for certain reasons. Or if I'm sad, I identify that I'm sad for certain reasons. But there's lots of subtle things, a lot of subtle indicators about our emotions, and we're not always tuned into these subtle indicators. And those other subtle indicators are often located in the body. So when I'm sad, maybe I know I'm sad because I start to cry, but maybe I know I'm sad because there's a feeling I have in my body. And so we're going to be tuning into those feelings over this next 10 minutes or so. Again, closing your eyes. But I'd like you to ground yourself first. Feel your feet on the floor or on your bed if you're happy to be laying down, but feeling your feet, grounding yourself towards the earth. And then we'll be exploring emotions. I was going to start today asking you to think of anxiety. So the last time you felt anxious, it could be right now, it could be today, it could be something more recent or farther. Connecting with the time recently where you felt anxiety. And bringing your awareness to that anxiety, and bringing your awareness to your body. Where do you feel anxiety when you are anxious? Be patient with yourself as you bring your awareness to your body and your head. Sometimes it is in the brain. But bringing your awareness to your body and where you feel anxiety. For many people, it is in the almost digestive tract someplace, down in the stomach, or up in the middle of the body towards the mid-chest, sometimes in the upper chest. For many people, it's a sense of pressure, either from the inside or the outside on the upper chest. For some people, it's up kind of around the neck, up towards the Adam's apple. But those aren't the only places. Those are frequent places. Let's switch to feeling overwhelmed, which could be related to anxious, but isn't necessarily. Recalling a time where you felt overwhelmed, very overwhelmed. And being open to an awareness in your body. This is not something you have to figure out. Again, it's a practice. When you're overwhelmed, where do you feel it in your body? And as you notice that area or areas where you feel overwhelmed. And then like how big or small of an area you're noticing it in. Also noticing if there's an image that comes to mind. Some people kind of, think in images and some people don't. But with overwhelm, is there an image that comes to mind? Or a feelings in the body or in the head? With overwhelm, there's often a feeling of wanting to escape for good reason, because it's uncomfortable to feel overwhelmed. There's often excuse me, and accompanying sense of wanting to escape or wanting to take action. So noticing those kind of impulses in your body as you notice the overwhelm. Let's shift to a sense of peace or peacefulness. Recalling a time where you felt peace, peaceful, or just kind of peaceful. And noticing in your body where you feel peace. Allowing yourself to sink into that sense of peace. And noticing where you do feel it, how it impacts your body. It doesn't have to be whatever. If you can't picture a time when you were completely peaceful, that's okay. Just a time when you were more peaceful. Again, noticing in your body how that feels different, kind of where you feel it, and also if it somehow feels different. Again, you can notice if there's an image that kind of comes along with peace or peaceful for you. Now I want to switch to sad. Remembering a time or feeling a time now where you were sad. And sitting with that sensation in your body. Normally many of us, most of us, kind of chase away the emotions that we feel are more difficult. We kind of want to feel happy and peaceful. And we chase away feelings such as sadness, overwhelm. But right now, we're not chasing anything away. I'd like you to sit with sadness. Notice where you feel it in your body. If it's a heaviness or something else. Oftentimes this resonates with people near the heart, but not always. Sometimes in the eyes, the throat. So you're really just noticing where you feel sadness, how it feels. Maybe the feelings in your body. Maybe it's even outside of your body. Sometimes people talk about almost like a cloud up above, like feeling a cloud up above. But you're also just allowing it. Noticing, observing sadness in yourself, where you feel it, how it feels. Perhaps even observing a level of discomfort with sadness, or your own kind of pattern of wanting to kind of chase it away, not sit with it. Then coming back to the sadness, allowing it, observing it, being present with it, and honoring it. We don't have to judge sadness, just like we don't have to judge anxiety. More on that later. Let's shift to excited, a positive kind of excited. Excited as in looking forward to something, or just having gotten good news. Observing in your body, excitement and where you feel it, how it feels, where you feel it, and sitting with it. Though we associate excitement with being a positive emotion, oftentimes the way it feels in the body isn't always positive. It sometimes, in some people, it's like cross-wired with anxiety, so that we feel the anxiety at the same time. Sometimes it's kind of cross-wired with fear. This exciting thing happened, but then we're almost fear that we don't deserve it, or fear that it won't happen. This is not a technical term, cross-wired. I'm just saying that sometimes they've evolved together, these different emotions. So sitting with excited, noticing where you feel it in your body. And then coming back to the breath. We're going to finish up with the emotions. Coming back to the breath. And then I want to finish up here today by talking a little bit more about emotions and why it's good to be able to sink into them. Emotions often don't resolve as well when we are trying to block them or keep them suppressed. And so developing a practice where we allow our emotions to be can be part of what helps them to come and go. It can help them to resolve. Another thing is it's really a good practice to just allow our emotions and not judge them. Because like if I feel anxious, I'm like, oh my God, I shouldn't feel this anxious. Why do I feel this anxious? This is dumb that I feel this anxious. Other people aren't feeling this anxious. I shouldn't be this anxious. That's so much judgment and so much pressure on that feeling. A different approach is, I feel anxious. Whew, wow, it's pretty big. Wow. Okay, I am uncomfortable. And I'm not really sure why I'm this anxious. Sometimes it does make sense to me when I get anxious, and other times, it doesn't even make sense. But okay, I'm anxious. I'm allowing it. And you know what? The other thing is other people feel this way. We often don't give other people credit for feeling the way we feel or give ourselves credit for feeling the way other people feel. We just kind of like judge ourselves as feeling somehow worse than and less than. What if I do feel overwhelmed? I do struggle with this personally. When I feel overwhelmed, there is that judgment that comes in. Well, I shouldn't feel this overwhelmed. I mean, I know I'm doing some stuff, but it doesn't seem like it's that much. Why can't I just manage it? Why can't I just manage it better? All of that is judgment. So I too practice letting go of the judgment, allowing myself to feel the overwhelm, because that can be a part of how it passes. being at peace with it, allowing it can be a part of how it passes and or just loses some of its power over me. I'd like to say thank you. We've gone over a little bit. I try to stick to 25 minutes, but thanks again for tuning in today. Thanks to the Jefferson Educational Society. My name is Penny Meckley Porter, and I'm the owner and founder of Thrive Therapy Space. And we will be doing this again next Friday, live anyway, next Friday live at the Jefferson Educational Society Facebook page. But you can always find these videos and others on the Jefferson's website and on their YouTube channel. Thanks again. See you next week.